Hello, it's Phillip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers. I'm looking at a very interesting book, which is the University edition. Actually, there's a little picture of it here. It's a white background. It's quite a big book, but it's actually the compendium, if you like, of all of the works by Philip Wood, Professor Wood. It's called The Law and Practice of International Finance. It's a very important book, and Philip Wood is by far and away, in my view, the world's leading expert in this area. It's published by Sweet and Maxwell, and it's actually a very short version of a whole series of books in about 7 volumes to go with maps concerning international finance, which I've talked about elsewhere. I've written a review of this book, having met the professor, who's a charming man, and I've called it Doctrine, Data and Deals, because that's really what this book is about. What Professor Wood told me at the book launch of this and the other works that he's produced is that the work is for law and economics undergraduates, drawn from initially from all the information in the 7 main volumes of his definitive statement on the law and practice of international finance, which is going to take a much higher profile, I would think, in the longer term with the current economic problems we have throughout the globe. And that this book, in fact, the University edition, is exactly what Philip Wood intends when he sets out on his path, because he talks about the law and practice of international finance in detail. I'm not going to go into a lot of the detail because you can see it by reading the book or in fact looking on Google online now, because there's a huge amount of information. In my view, it's a wonderful statement for learners on international finance law. And this edition in particular is a summary, as I say, of his 7-volume work, which covers the entire scope of the subject on a comparative and a worldwide basis, and Wood succeeds in his aim of explaining the politics and the law in a very cogent way, a very clear way. And he also talks about how transactions work out in practice. The chapter headings can be taken as lectures, if you like, followed by questions and seminar topics, which will be, of course, of use to both lecturers and learners as they cover this particular area, if they're doing anything on the international field. And I would have thought many universities are moving in that direction today anyway. As I said, Philip Wood is a charming man, and obviously when I met him I felt that he was a certain absolute master of this substantive law with his definitive experience of the subject. He's a South African, but his enthusiasm, travelled man, comes out clearly with the work, which distills complex and confusing information brilliantly in a way which aids memory, as obviously he wishes to do. He describes the areas, as I've said in the title, which is on the internet, as Doctrine, Data and Deals, the 3 Ds if you like, and how right he is. He gets the learner to go where he wants him to go as quickly as possible, and that's a fine feat in itself with this particular area of law. And so, as Professor Wood puts it, they, that's the learners, can then leap forwards, and in this exciting, important area of law he does just that. So do have a look at it. If you can possibly look at the 7-volume work, that's well worth doing. They are expensive, but they will be in the law libraries. And do have a look at his maps, which go with this book. Thank you very much. Bye bye.